I was close.
You were very close.
I was close.
Let's do it one more time.
And then I could hear it, and I'm like, oh, say something smart. Say something witty.
You and me and ADHD.
That was good.
We make up a perfect harmony.
Ooh, look at Craig bringing it in. Harmonizing the harmony.
You're super cute. Yeah.
You are super cute. Okay.
How long?
go.
I mean, we haven't done an ADHD episode.
I think all of our episodes are ADHD. Every time.
Good point.
Oh, man. This one's thick, though. This one's thick.
Okay, good point.
Okay.
Every
yeah.
episode's it. But
Okay.
we haven't talked about it.
Okay. Are we talking about it?
No, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about the neurodivergent spectrum that we have found ourselves on in our 40s.
Okay.
Where would you like to start?
I had an interesting experience 2 days ago where I realized, because I have all these little things that I'm like, oh, I like to call it the ah-da-da. It makes me feel better. And I'm like, it's the ah-da-da. And then I'm making it fun.
And that's your way of referring to the ADD, right?
ADD, the ah-da-da. It's just, it makes me happy.
It's cute. And I think it's also a clear sign that you're on the spectrum.
Well,
I make up my own words. It makes me happy.
Yeah, that's true, though. That's totally true.
That's very true.
Oh, my goodness. Okay,
Tell your
so
story.
I'm sitting in the car, or I'm sitting, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for an order to come in. I'm sitting there, and my phone, when I left the house, I had forgot to turn Wi-Fi back on the previous day. So my phone, I'd been on it and using it, and it was just data. It was just pulling. So my battery was halfway gone. And when I'm out running, it uses a lot of my battery. So I'm sitting there and I have to conserve my battery. I've got it plugged into the van, but it's not the fastest charge, It's got it plugged in and I'm waiting. And I just have to sit there because I didn't bring a book to read. I can't get on my phone, and I'm just sitting there like I have my journal prompts, my thing for when inspiration hits so I can write down, because as we mentioned, I'm writing a book. But I'm like, I'm not like, I need some inspiration. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can just sit here. I'm just going to watch and listening to sounds. And then was like, oh my God, I can't do it. It started to like make me sweat. And I'm like, oh my God, you can do this. You can sit here and not do anything for a second. I'm like, yes, I will be mindful. I'm going to play a game. I'm going to be mindful. So I'm like, how many different sounds can I hear? I started to really dive into my mindfulness. And so many times I come to and my phone's in my hand and I'm like, how did that happen? It's up in a clip on the dash. But I get distracted, grab my phone for something, and then catch, oh, I'm being mindful, put it back. Focus on the leaves on the trees. Focus at how like this section of leaves, and I know I started telling you this, but like has that, like these leaves were dead. So there was like these red leaves that looked very disturbing, little slabs of meat looking like in the green leaves. And then I started thinking about, does that make me crazy? Because I saw slabs of meat. Did I fail that ink dot test? Am I insane? And then I'm on my phone and then I put it back and I'm like, pay attention. So many times I came to awareness, being mindful I'm like, how do I get distracted? Something comes to my brain. I'm like, oh, let's look. Completely forget what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, this might be bad. And when I had awareness, when I had the mindful to sit there, I had awareness of how uncomfortable my body was, of how I'm like, I need to do something. I need stimulus. I need to do something. I can't sit here. Stimulus. I think I meant stimuli. I need a stimmy because I couldn't. It was so uncomfortable to just
sit still for a minute.
Still. And now if I'm on the beach, of course. If I'm sitting of course. But sitting in a parking lot and trying to be calm and be mindful.
Yeah. There's your spiritual practice, right? Go park in a parking lot and sit there for 15 minutes. Do nothing.
Yeah. It was torture. I understand that's not the correct use of that word, but it was really difficult. I mean, that's not technically,
It's torture for somebody. You had a hard time with it.
I had a very difficult time with it.
I have a hard time with that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to go anywhere without our phones and snag them and grab them and, do all the things that we're doing with phones these days. What did we do before phones? It's not like our ADD appeared just with the phones.
I think before phones, I was a social person.
Yeah.
I think I was like,
chatting up everybody.
And I was interacting with people and doing things.
Just way more active.
Yes. Or all the curtains were drawn.
Did you read a lot?
The lights were off. I did read a lot.
Yeah.
And I also watched TV a lot.
Yeah, I think that was mine, was the TV.
Yeah.
Was just, constantly watching TV. Yeah, it's hard. I think you're the one that brought it to me. The whole, you gave it to me.
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah, you definitely gave me ADHD. It was after about 4 years of being married together and sleeping in the same bed. Prior to that,
she's contagious.
I was super organized all the time.
Yeah, you were.
I could think about things clearly. I used to sit in parking lots all the time without any problems.
Oh,
Hardly
goodness.
ever used my phone. And then I married Steph. Here we are. No.
Gaslighter.
I was oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Completely oblivious to it. And it's not just ADHD either, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely on that autism spectrum in some capacity. And I know that there's a whole, I feel, I'm always not skeptical. I'm always afraid to say that I am on that spectrum, not out of judgment or anything. I could care less about the judgment part of it, but I'm worried about the people, because there's people that are like, not everybody is on that spectrum. I'm like, I agree. I don't think everybody is on that spectrum, but I think it's a pretty big spectrum.
Yes.
And I think we like to label all of these different behavioral things over the course of history and time, right? Whether it's like Asperger's or autism or all of these kind of different things. And then each one of those have varying degrees. And I like neurodivergent. That to me makes...
It's a nice umbrella.
It's a big umbrella. It covers everything. It's got everybody wrapped up in a nice little bow. It makes it simple for me. And part of what I don't think of them as issues, but part of the way that my brain works is I like to make things simple and easy to understand. Mm-hmm. If there's a label that fits and feels good for me, I'm going to wear it. I'm going to carry it, and I'm going to kind of embody that. And it wasn't... legitimately, I feel like it was probably in the last 5 or 6 years that you started bringing awareness to it for yourself, as well as pointing it out in regards to me sometimes. And I was like, oh, you might be onto something, because it's all the ADHD stuff and our inability to stay focused. I mean, this is what these cards are all about. If you've ever noticed, if you ever watch this podcast and see me playing with cards, that's just my fidget spinner, where I have to have my hands doing something. And if I don't, then, you're the same way over there, Miss, trying to hold your hands steady.
I do. I use my nails, and I have to sensory. I have to, do patterns. I have to
in
push
order to hold still,
and different parts, and sometimes fingers, but I have to I move my... I have to do something. And I don't even know how to word it.
That's all the stimming, right? That's what those things are called.
I think, yeah.
Our stimming things that we do. Yeah. What are some more of your stims?
We were talking about...
That's right. We were talking about Craig's stims. I got my cards. But I didn't have any awareness of any of this stuff. I never saw my life through the lens of this until, we were saying, 4 or 5 years ago. And now seeing my life through that, it's changed so many different aspects of how not only I see myself, but how I see my past and how I see my life, how I see myself in school. I think about growing up, how, it wasn't just that I couldn't sit still. I could sit in a class. I wasn't the kid that was climbing on his desk and, I could sit and go through the class. Mm-hmm. I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I think that I was the vast majority of the time I was gone. I wasn't really present in the class. I knew how to tune in and listen and pick up on what somebody was saying, right?
We were meant to be